So, talking about your Ironman journey, could we cover how you trained for this Ironman? And if I could request you to emphasize on how you manage time, because again, training for the Ironman is not like training for a swimming competition on a Sunday. It requires months and months of training. Correct me if I'm wrong, sir. And I know it's in and out so many hours a day. And so, could you help us with how you train for the Ironman and how you manage training for such extensive periods of time a day?
Training for the Ironman, like you mentioned, is totally different from any other training for an event like a marathon or a swim because you have to train for three different events, and each one is as grueling as the other in terms of its distance and the amount of time you need to spend to train for it. Uh, and time management does become one of the biggest challenges when you train, and I face the same. And just to qualify it, I'll give you an idea that to swim 3.8 kilometers for a reasonably good swimmer would take between 1 to 2 hours. And to cycle 180 kilometers would take between 6 to 7 hours. And to run 42.2 kilometers would be between 4 to 5 hours. Now, this is the amount of time required to do this event once individually. I trained for 18 long months. And like I said, I had never swum 3.8 kilometers. I had never run 42 kilometers. So I had to start with smaller distances, a 500-meter swim, then slowly progressing to 1 kilometer, 1.5, 2, and so on and so forth. And similarly for the other two. Now, I had a full day. My office was 9 in the morning to 5:30 in the evening. And if you are taking in travel time, I'm based in Delhi, and that's where I was posted when I did the Ironman. So it would you can exclude another hour each way. So basically, 10 hours of your day are gone. 5 days a week, 10 hours gone at work, and there's no way that you can compromise on work because that's what you are in the army for. You're not in
Yeah,
the army to do the Ironman.
yeah,
Now, if I remove 14 out of 24 hours, 10 hours, I'm left with 14 hours. And out of those 14 hours, I need to sleep at least 7 to 8 hours. So you remove that and you're left with 6 hours.
right.
And in that 6 hours, you're meant to train, eat, and do everything else. So time management or juggling your time becomes the most important aspect in this game. What I was following was before I went to work in the morning, I would spend about an hour at home doing core strengthening, body strengthening, and stuff like that. I never joined a gym because it would waste time for me to first, go from my house to the gym, then work out there, then come back. So I used to work out at home.
Right.
Then I would get back from work in the evening, change, and go for a run thrice a week from 7 at night to 10 o'clock at night. Now, it would depend how much I was running. I never ran less than 10 kilometers. So it may be 10, maybe 15. And this was the time I used to use thrice a week. And the other 2 days of the working week, I would use the same timeline from 7 to 10 to go for a swim. Now, the cycling part of it, like I told you, takes between 6 to 7 hours.
Yeah.
So there was no way I could do it on a working day. And therefore, I kept it for a weekend, and that was Saturday night. I used to start cycling at 2 in the morning on Saturday, Sunday night, and finish off at about 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning before the sun, became very strong and unbearable. Because Delhi, the temperatures in summer touch 44 degrees. My event was on 1st of July. The 3 months preceding when you have to start peaking were all summer months of April, May, and June. So this cycling at night offered me a couple of advantages, like the sun was not there. The
Yeah.
temperatures are slightly less than by day. The traffic is less at night because it slows down. The number of vehicles reduce, and because the traffic is less, there's little less pollution. So these were the factors why I chose to cycle at night.
Right.
But having done that, I would spend the entire Sunday then relaxing, because if you are on your bike for 5 to 6 hours, 7 hours, you need to then really relax on Sunday, because Monday you have to be at work next. The week starts again.
Yeah.
So that's the way I was juggling my time. So time management is a very important aspect.
Wow. So words cannot begin to describe how amazing that is. And if I could just ask you one point, sir, there must have been a time where either you're done with your training for the day, or you've just gotten up and your body just says that I can't do this today. Either it hurts too much, you're too sore from the previous night's exercise session. But how do you keep going? How do you keep at it, even at the times when you say, maybe we can do this next year, we can postpone the Ironman, I'll do the next one? How do you keep at it? How do you stick to your goal and say, no, I started this, I'm getting this done with?
I used two very successful techniques.
Okay.
There was, firstly, the technique I used was public pledging. I'll talk of that a
Right.
little later, but I will explain why I used it.
Sure.
Because, like you said, uh, there are times when you want to quit, you want to postpone, you want you feel that you had enough, and I knew that would be coming, because that's what experience has taught me. So what I did was, I went onto social media and announced that I'm going to do Ironman so and so.
Right.
So it was Ironman Austria. I went and registered. I paid $1,000 to register. So firstly, now you have locked the date. So the destination has been identified in terms of location, time, and what you have to do.
Hmm.
So once you have a destination in sight, then your journey becomes more focused, because, like, if when you have a GPS, unless you feed in a destination, you get no direction.
Right.
So you start getting direction. Now, why did public pledging, or why did I go on social media? Because every day when I was training, I was cursing myself. I was, telling myself, why the hell did I get into this? Because the training is so tiring, long. You've had a long day at work, then you're running 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers at night, day after day. If your family is getting fed up because they are on a different routine and you are on a different mission.
Yeah.
Your friends are fed up with you. They keep inviting you for parties and dinners, and you refuse because there's no way you can go and start, partying with them. They
Hmm.
don't understand that you are training for something big. So nobody actually understands. And that is another challenge. Now, all these put together often gave me the feeling that I can quit. I should
Yeah.
quit. But because I had done public pledging, and when I did public pledging, and when I told people I'm going to do the Ironman, the response I got was, in most cases, 99% cases were no. I don't think you should do it. You're too old to do the Ironman. You'll have a heart attack. This is not the time for you to do it. And stuff like that.
Right.
So I knew that if I quit, those people will get up and say, see, we told you, you shouldn't do this. And they will, of course, laugh at me
Hmm.
when I'm not around. To prevent that from happening, I went and did public pledging, so that I left no window open for me to escape. So I
Right.
was like trapped. I trapped myself willingly that I don't quit. Now, that is the pressure that you can put from outside. So it's positive pressure.
Right.
The other technique I used was, there were a number of days when you find your morale is going down.
Hmm.
You are fed up internally, whilst you're not thinking of quitting, but you are feeling low, because day after day you're just doing the same stuff, and it's tiring. Your body is hurting, your mind is hurting, so everything else is getting neglected. So I used to do something called visualization.
Right.
This technique, I used to visualize my success. So every time I felt low, I would start thinking, how would I feel when I completed the Ironman? When I was running down the red carpet, how will that man shout out my name? Vikram, you're an Iron Man. So that feeling of visualizing your success, or your imagining how you and your family would feel when you are successful in what you're doing, you
Right.
will be a great motivator. Having said all this, I also followed the technique that when I set my timelines and my goals, I used to cater for slippage. I knew
Okay.
there would be days when I wanted to cheat. So if I said I am running and swimming 5 days a week and cycling on Saturday, then uh, it's not that you can do it every week religiously. There would be days when you don't feel like going for a run. You are so tired. So you take a cheat day.
Okay.
But that should be built into your training program to say that I will now graduate, say, from 10 kilometers running to 15 to 20 over the next 3 months. And in those 3 months should be these cheat days already included in cater for. So that there is no slippage in your, finally, my event date doesn't change. It is 1st
Okay.
of July. And how long before that I have to train would depend upon how much time, energy, and money I can invest in my training. So, keeping that in mind, you need to make your time plan and your goals.
This was from episode 2 of the AG podcast. For more, hit the link in the bio.